everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and in today's video, I am doing the highly anticipated Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Complexion review. So many of you all have messaged me on my email, you have messaged me on Instagram, you've left comments on my videos from 2011 asking me for this video, and quite frankly, this is my most requested video of all time on my channel. So I am doing it for you all today. I got my package in the mail, and as soon as I got my package, I ripped that thing open and I am about to do a first impressions for you all. Get excited! Get excited! Woo! But let's jump into the details because this launch is super exciting, and I know that this is probably one of the most highly anticipated launches of 2019. So I order everything from Pat McGrath's website. As of now, you can order Pat McGrath's products from a few different places, so I'm going to read them off. You can order it directly from her website, which is Pat McGrath Labs. You can order it from Sephora, which all of us are familiar with Sephora. You can order it from Bergdorf Goodman, which is a department store. Selfridges, which is a department store overseas, and then there's a store called Mode Senses, which I have not heard of, but they do sell her products. So I ordered everything from Pat McGrath's website just because she had an early access code for me, and with that code I got 10% off, and I ordered the everything kit. So that means I have everything. I have both brushes, the foundation, the primer, and the powder. Here's the box for the primer, and the primer retails for $60. It has 1 fluid ounce of products or 30 milliliters of products. So here's what the primer looks like, and it does come with a pump, and it says makeup meets skincare in the ultimate smoothing skin refining primer, the first step in Mother's iconic Sublime Perfection system. It primes, smooths, hydrates, and renews with a sublime silken effect that instantly turns back time on your complexion by preventing transepidermal moisture loss. So this is a very hydrating formula that is supposed to be a moisture magnet to make your skin be more supple. So here's the box that the powder comes in. Very sleek, it's black, it says Pat McGrath Labs, and on the box it has the hieroglyphs that I love. I absolutely adore that touch. And it says Skin Sublime Sublime Perfection Setting Powder. Here's what the powder looks like. It comes in a very sleek little slender powder container. This powder retails for $55. There is 0.17 ounces of products in each container. I have the color medium 3, and I want to note, because I ordered the kit, I was unable to select my shade of the powder. It just picked a color for me, probably based on the foundation shade that I selected. But there are 5 different colors of powder. There's light 1, light medium 2, medium 3, which is the one that I have. There's medium deep 4, and there's deep 5. The description says that this is the third step in Mother's iconic Sublime Perfection system. This luxurious, silky soft, and super blendable powder is the ultimate finishing touch to set makeup for flawless lasting wear. Weightless and brilliantly buildable, it takes your look from divine to sublime. Formulated to complement Sublime Perfection Foundation, it's available in 5 shades that are uniquely calibrated to correspond to the foundation's 36 color true hues. This powder is also fragrance free, and Pat McGrath says that it is formulated with her lighter than air proprietary flex form matrix powder, and it gives a barely there feel to the skin. The next thing is what I know everybody is here for, and that is the foundation. The official name of the foundation is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, and here's what the box looks like of the foundation. And I thought it was really cute because it has this little top that lifts up, and it's not like the normal box that a foundation typically comes in. So this foundation retails for $68, and it has more than the average 1 fluid ounce. It has 1.18 fluid ounces of products or 35 milliliters of products in the bottle. So here's what the actual foundation looks like, and it feels very nice and weighty. I think it's super cute. I like the design of the foundation, and I really feel like it fits Pat McGrath's aesthetic. So on the foundation, it again has the hieroglyphs. It says the name of the product and Pat McGrath Labs. It has this really cool cap on the top of it, and it comes with a pump. So the description of this foundation says, Mother's instantly iconic foundation builds weightlessly from a sheer veil to a flawless medium coverage in 36 universal color choices and 5 shade levels, custom curated for all skin types, tones, and undertones. So this is the second step in the Sublime Perfection System. So more about the formulation of the foundation. It says that it's crafted with the Vita Serum Complex, which is designed to help fight the formation of wrinkles by preserving the hydrolyphic film barrier, I believe I pronounced that right, of the skin. This complex boosts hydration by activating the natural production of hyaluronic acid and ceramides. Diamond's core technology improves skin texture by optically smoothing and blurring the appearance of fine lines and imperfections. And illuminating soft focus pigment blended into the formula converts and scatters the light. It says that this emulates the effect of a healthy, youthful complexion. This is formulated without parabens, talc, or fragrance. It is also oil-free. I do want to note that this foundation does contain alcohol. I don't know which type of alcohol. Looking on the back of the box, it is the fourth ingredient in this foundation. Now, I know a lot of people have reservations about alcohol, but alcohol can do a few different things in your products. One of the things that it can do is be a stabilizer for the products. One of the other things that it can do is allow for some of the other ingredients to be deeply penetrated into the skin. So if you're a person who's like no alcohol, no time ever, then you may want to steer clear of this foundation. But if you're a person like me, I don't really have any strong feelings towards it. I just know that alcohol can be drying to your skin. So knowing that, I wouldn't use this foundation on a regular basis, but depending on how I like the formulation, I'm not opposed to using it every once in a while. So like the description says, there are 36 different colors of this foundation. I got the shade number 18. I'll go ahead and tell you all, I think that this is a really nice match for me. I was going back and forth between 18 and 19. I was like, I don't know what to do, but I ended up going with this one because this one says that it has more of a neutral undertone, which I agree. My color fits in the medium category, and it is described as a medium with a neutral / olive undertone. So I don't really see a lot of green in this foundation, which is a benefit for me because I really don't have an olive complexion. But sometimes with my complexion, if I pick a neutral foundation, I kind of get lumped into the olive group, but I really don't have an olive complexion. So there's 5 different categories of the foundation shade range as well. So it says that there's light, there's medium / light, there's medium / deep, and then there's deep. For this release, there were also 2 different brushes that she launched, and I did get both of them since I did get the everything kit. And the first brush is the Sublime Perfection Powder Brush, and that brush retails for $58. And the second brush is the Sublime Perfection Foundation Brush, and this brush retails for $55. And minor oversight on the actual package that the brushes come in, both of them say that they are powder brushes, but obviously one of the brushes is a foundation brush and the other one is a powder brush. It doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to point that out to you guys just in case you get the everything kit, or if you bought both of the brushes and you get them and you're like, okay, wait, I thought this was a foundation brush. I just think that that was a minor oversight. I will be using both of the brushes in the demonstration, but before I jump into that, let me give you guys a quick breakdown on pricing just in case you were curious. So like I've been saying, I got the everything kit, which is comprised of the foundation, the primer, the powder, and both of the brushes, and that kit retails for $250. Like I said, I did get a code from Pat McGrath. I was able to save 10%. By using that code, I did get a savings of $25. If you wanted to buy everything separately over time, say for instance you do want the brushes but maybe not right now, and you want to have the primer and the foundation and the powder all together, then it'll cost you $296 just buying everything separately. Now if you don't want the brushes, they do offer just the foundation, the powder, and the primer together as a kit, and this retails for $150. So if you bought everything separately, it would retail for $183. So buying it together as a kit, you are saving $33. So buying things in a bundle sometimes can save you money, and in this instance it definitely did. So I want to go ahead and jump into the demonstration, and I'm going to use every single thing that I bought from the everything kit, and I'm going to do a wear test. Make sure you stay tuned until the end, and I will tell you all my final thoughts on this collection, and I'll show you all what my makeup looks like at the end of the night. So let me know if you all got your hands on this. I know that you are interested in this just by how many people contacted me about it. So hopefully this video lives up to that hype, and I hope that you all enjoy. So the first thing that I need to do is apply the primer. I'm just shaking it up to make sure that it is good and incorporated. On my Petri dish, I'm going to go in with 1 pump. And I'm going to press this in right here on the sides of my face where I have a little bit of texture. Other side now. This primer smells really nice. It has like a very faint, fresh smell. I have a little bit of concealer above my brows, but I am gonna pat some like right here on my nose and take some around my mouth area because I do crease there. I like the way it feels. It feels cooling, but at the same time, it almost mattifies the skin. Let's go in with the foundation. And again, I'm gonna shake up this foundation. On one side, I'm gonna use the foundation brush, and on the other side, I'm gonna use my beauty blender. So let's go in with a few pumps of the foundation first. I'm gonna start off with 2 pumps for one side of my face. I'm going in with the brush first, and I'm dipping directly into this foundation. And I am going to blot this on the skin and buff it in. The brush is allowing me to blend it out really nicely. This is a pretty liquidy foundation. It's a very compact brush. It's going to give me a little bit more coverage. And I just know that right off the bat just because I've used brushes like this before. I like how it's blending. It feels nice. This foundation is matching well. I'm here for that. It's giving me more coverage than I thought it was going to. So I don't really see any of my imperfections, but it still looks natural. So I like the way that it looks, and it's still dewy. I've had it on my face for about 4 minutes at this point, and it's pretty much settled down a little bit, and it still has this nice glow to it. So I like the way that it blended out with the brush, and you all can see the color is almost spot on. It's just a little bit more golden than my skin tone. But I mean, I like that in a foundation. It's not overly golden to the point where it doesn't look like the right undertone. It's just giving me a little bit more color than I naturally have. I'm gonna go in with 2 more pumps, but you can see how this foundation runs. It's very liquidy. Going in with my beauty blender on the other side. And this is how I typically apply my makeup with a sponge. Let me tell you right now, I can already see that applying it with the sponge is going to use up more of your product. So I'm going in with it, and all of that product is immediately gone in the sponge. Off the bat, I can already tell you that using a brush is likely going to be the best tool for this foundation because it isn't the most full coverage foundation, so you don't want to use a lot of it whenever you're doing your makeup so you're not wasting products. Like I said, I think I like the finish of the brush better just because I feel like it just buffed that foundation out. I'm gonna go back in with the brush just because I like it better. I think this looks really, really good right now. It's glowy. It doesn't feel heavy. It actually feels pretty weightless on the skin. I think I got a good amount of coverage from it. It actually looks pretty natural. It looks effortless, and it really didn't take that much to blend out the foundation at all, especially when I blended it out using the brush, which, as you guys saw, the brush just gave me the most flawless application. So I think my color is matching really well. The next test is just to see how the rest of my makeup applies on top of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply my concealer, and I actually bought the powder too, so I'll be back after I apply my concealer and set that to set my face with the powder that came with the set. So I put a few more finishing touches on my makeup. I finished off my lower lash line. I added my concealer, and I set my concealer with my regular Laura Mercier powder. But as you all know, Pat McGrath came out with the powder, and I have the 1 Indie Color Medium 3. There are several different powders, but since I bought the kit, I couldn't pick which color powder I wanted. You all know I typically use my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish all over my face, and I use a loose powder underneath my eyes. But since I couldn't pick my color, they chose this one for me, and I think this color is a little bit too dark to set my under eye with, so I'm gonna try it all over my face. But I'm only gonna put it on half of my face, and I only want to do a little bit because truthfully, and this is very rare, I think that my face looks good without setting it. And typically I like a powder because I like the finish that a powder gives. But this foundation is giving my face this really pretty glow to the point where I feel like setting it with too much powder will take away from that effect. So I'm just going to be very light-handed with the powder. So the number 3 powder looks like it's about my skin tone, and I'm going in with the powder brush. And I'm just going to dust that all over just to set. I think that this powder could, if you packed it on enough, give you more coverage. But since I'm going in so light-handedly, it just gave me a nice veil of powder. So I'm not really getting too much more coverage than I did before. And you all can see the effect of the powdered side versus the non-powdered side. I am going to go ahead and powder this as well, just because I typically wear a powder. The other side, I'm going in with my MAC powder, just to see how this foundation plays with it. Again, I think it's very beautiful, but 2 different effects. And I also went in very light-handed with the MAC powder as well. But I like both sides of my face right now. I feel like my skin looks very healthy. It looks very radiant. I actually am gonna take this powder brush and go in with my bronzer, my favorite bronzer. And let's see how this works. Okay, I like this brush for bronzer just because this brush is a powder brush, but it also is kind of compact. So it's allowing me to apply that bronzer where I want it to be, but yet be able to blend it out too. So I have my makeup finished, and as of right now, I am absolutely loving the effects that this foundation and powder have on my skin. I think that everything looks very beautiful, very glowy. It is the perfect balance of dewy but not looking too oily, and I love the way that my skin is looking right now. I think that all of my products that I typically use went on top of these new Pat McGrath products beautifully, and so far I am liking what I see. So I am going to do a wear test. Depending on how long I do the wear test really is going to come down to how sleepy I am. It is already late. It is 8 o'clock at night, but I am dedicated to you all. I know how badly so many of you all want to see me do this video, so I am going to do a mini wear test. As many of you all know, I am a night owl, so this is not unusual for me to be doing stuff and working this late at night. So I probably won't go to sleep until maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3, depending on my mood and depending on how productive I feel. So if I end up staying up that late, I will do a wear test up until that point. But let's just play it by ear. Push come to shove, know that you at least have me for 4 hours because I never go to sleep before midnight. So I'm about to go grab some dinner and I'll come back and I'll show you guys what my foundation is looking like and do some check-ins for you all. So stay tuned. So I am back for my first check-in. I did go get some dinner. I just ate some tacos and they were delicious. And I was outside because it was a taco truck and I had to stand outside and walk outside and do all that good stuff. And here's what my face is looking like after 2 hours with these products on. I think that everything still looks really good. I really don't see a huge change from when I initially applied the products, but I am going to continue to wear them. I do still have things to do. I know it's late and you all are like, okay, it's time for bed. I know it is time for bed, but I still have 1,000 things to do, I feel like. So I'm gonna keep working on all of that. Hopefully I can get everything accomplished tonight, and I'll check you guys in 2 more hours. So as of right now, it has been 4 hours. It is currently 12:30 at night and I have been running around like a crazy woman trying to prepare for my weekend's getaway. And I think that in the midst of all of that, my face still looks really nice. I think that a little bit of my oils are starting to break through in my T-zone area, but it still is intact. I don't feel like the product has left. I still think I have coverage, and overall I think everything still looks really, really nice. So it has been 6 hours and I am ready to do my final check-in for the night. And so far I still am liking everything, but I want to break it down piece by piece and give you all a little bit more insight into what I'm thinking about each item from this launch. I'm gonna start off with the primer, and I really like the way that this primer feels. If you guys watch my channel, you know I am not the biggest primer person. I'm not a person who has to prime anything on my face. If I do prime, the primer needs to feel good and it needs to make a difference. Otherwise, I use my foundation with just my moisturizer underneath. And I really do like the way that this primer feels. I feel like it gives me a nice canvas to apply my makeup on top of. It feels very hydrating, like the description said, and it does smooth out the skin, so I am feeling the formulation of this primer. The only thing that I am not feeling is the label, and depending on the type of person you are, that can either make or break if you want the product or not. For me, I like for things to look beautiful, especially if they have a hefty price point, which I feel like this primer is not inexpensive. I think it's priced at a luxury price point, so I need more for the presentation, and for me it's just not delivering. Next we have the foundation. Now, I really like the way that this foundation wore. I feel like the color was a great match, and I'm always scared whenever I order foundations online because it's either a 50-50 chance, either I got it really, really right or I got it really, really wrong, and I think I did a good job this time. I like the way that this foundation felt. I like the way that it built up. I like the way that it wore throughout the day. I like the fact that it did not oxidize. So overall, I'm feeling the formulation and the way that this foundation looks on my skin. The brush that I blended out the foundation with. So I like kabuki brushes. I feel like it allows you to blend out that foundation really fast. You all saw in the demonstration that with this brush, I used way less products and I was able to blend it out a lot faster. So I do like that. This brush is shorter. I'm not really a huge fan of super short brushes. I do like to have a long handle because I feel like I have long fingers. So to accommodate that, I need a handle to kind of match that same energy. But aside from that, I like the brush. It's not a love. I wish the brush was just a little bit heavier. I mean, I think that the brush looks nice, but it's too lightweight. Same thing for the powder brush. I mean, it blends out and it does its job, but I do have a lot of other brushes that do the same thing in my collection. So I'm not gonna say that these brushes just super stand out and I feel like they are must-haves. Obviously, if you love Auntie Pat, these brushes are nice. For me, at this point in my brush game, I don't feel like these are must-haves just because I have other brushes that do the same thing that aren't as pricey as these. Plus, I want them to weigh just a little bit more. The powder, I really liked it. I felt like it blended into my skin, and very rarely do I have a loose powder that I like to put all over my face. Typically, I like to use loose powder underneath the eyes, and for a lot of loose powders, they are limited in the color range. They don't have 5 colors. They typically only have one, a translucent color and a translucent deep color that's typically too dark for me. So I did appreciate that she does have some loose powders that are for the middle section. Thank you for making a loose powder for medium complected people, and I like this powder because it did not change my foundation color. It did not overly mattify me. Granted, I did not put a lot, but still, it allowed me to set my face without changing anything, and it didn't give me an overly powdery look. So I really do like it, and if I'm in the mood for a loose setting powder, then I would reach for this again, and I like the effect that it gave. I think that this side of my face looks just as good as the other side with my typical powder that I use all the time. So this one is very finely milled, and it gave me a really nice airbrushed finish. All in all, I really like the collection. The standout piece for me is the foundation. So if you're going to get anything from this launch, I would focus my sights on the foundation. I feel like this is what they spent the most time on, and you can tell that through the execution of the packaging and the overall promo for this launch. So let me know if you ordered this foundation or anything from Pat McGrath's new complexion launch, and if you did, what is your experience? Did you get the right color? If you did, have you been wearing it? What do you think about it? I look forward to reading you all's comments, and I will check you all in my very next video, which will be super, super soon. Smooches. Bye.